Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kaustubha. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Cana, New York, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kaustubha Das. Welcome to the show, and welcome to the Srimad-Bhagavatam, and welcome to our Wisdom of the Sages weekend. We're about to hop in a car this afternoon and head down, meet everybody, all the others, all the Zoomers, live at the Bhakti Center. Excited! I'm really excited to meet people. And you said you were meeting a bunch of people yesterday at the... Kaustubha.
Yeah. Got it?
You meeting a bunch of people yesterday?
Yeah, well, yeah, I went, my wife and I went there for dinner, a little anniversary thing, you know. But yeah, we're meeting really, really nice people. People that had written in questions, people that had just been listening, people that I didn't even, never met before, you know. It's nice.
That's beautiful. Mine.
I can't hear you, Raghunath.
Yeah, my microphone's been acting up today. How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, that's okay.
Thank you. You don't understand what's going on here, but I'm keeping my hand right on that microphone. You know, in honor of Lord Jagannatha, I'm going to sing to you the Jagannath Astakam first verse.
All right.
Because I think you'll like it. We've been singing this on Sweet Baby Krishna every night, which is our Patreon program where, we do extra classes on that for people who make some financial contribution every month to the cause. So here we go. Ready? Kadachit kalindi tatavipina sangita karalo udabari nari vandana kamalashvara marupa rama shambhu pramarapati ganeshar pado Jagannath Swami, Nayana Patagami Baba to me. May that Lord Jagannath always be the object of my vision, no matter where I look. Sometimes I look at friends or enemies or inanimate objects or the earth or animals. May I always have that vision of Lord Jagannath. That's the ongoing refrain we hear in this.
Okay.
It says, who sometimes fervently places flute on the banks of the river Yamuna of Sri Vrindavan, and who is like a bumblebee that blissfully tastes the lotus faces of the Braj Gopis, and whose feet are simply worshipped by great personalities such as Lakshmi, Shiva, Brahma, Indra, and Ganesh. May that Jagannath Dev be the object of my vision. So if you're not in the know, there's a very unique festival in a state in India called Orissa, where this massive deity of Lord Krishna, known as Jagannath, he has this pastime, this Leela, where he gets sick. And how can the Supreme Lord get sick? How can a deity get sick? You might ask those questions. Well, these are done for our benefit. So it's like a pastime. God can't get sick, but he puts on this pastime like he gets sick. And the devotees put him on a cart and they bring him all the way to this place to heal. And they give him medicinal herbal teas and juices. And then he gets better. And then they put him back on the cart and they bring the cart back to the temple. And that is like we're carrying Krishna back to Vrindavan. Now, this whole thing sounds out of this world. It is out of this world. It's completely out of this world. It's makes no material sense. Why would you do that and engage your time, money, and resources in doing such a thing? But the entire culture of Orissa is built around this, and it's quite beautiful. And this has been transported to America, and this weekend in New York City. We encourage you all to come.
That's right.
Yeah, it's usually quite a fantastic event. Do you have any personal? Now, there's so many different Jagannath pastimes. Do you have any personal pastimes, Kaustubha, about Lord Jagannath?
What do you mean personal pet?
I don't know. Do you have
did
some
ever appear
special
to me and
connection? Yeah,
do
maybe.
something and-
Maybe. In a dream, perhaps? Did he ever whack you in the head?
No,
You know what I was saying
no.
yesterday? They sometimes put different masks on Lord Jagannath.
Mhm.
Like for Nisringadev's appearance, they put the Nisringadev mask on him.
Mhm.
They put the little doll Hiranyakashipu on his lap sometimes.
Mhm.
Sometimes they dress him up as Lord Ram on Ram's appearance. So if you live in a temple where they worship a Jagannath deity, you'll see all these fascinating things going on.
I have one of his toothbrushes.
Lord Jagannath's toothbrush.
Yeah.
People are saying, "What are you talking about, Kaustubha?"
Yeah. Hey, Gita Priya, is the toothbrush around? Is Lord Jagannath's toothbrush around?
I know, but
Is it hard to find? Dude, sooner or later we're gonna put this on display. But it's just like every day, just like they offer.
what is
the
the toothbrush? What is the toothbrush? It's a neem stick.
It's like a stick. Yeah, it's a long twig. But Raghunath Swami gave me that toothbrush. But it's every day they offer him a new one at
That's
in
very
Jagannath
cool.
Puri.
That's very
Nice.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's somewhere tucked away right now. Don't have it right now.
So anyway, we told some Jagannath pastimes for the last few days, but I don't know. We're excited to see everybody. And we're excited to see all these others out there. And we're back in the Bhagavatam where we're dealing with anger.
Yeah.
When you don't get your needs met or your desires met. The natural thing that arises next, according to the Gita, chapter 262, is you get frustrated and you get angry. Because I want things to go my way. Got some quotes on anger for you.
Okay, let's
Can
hear.
I throw a couple at you?
Yeah.
For every minute you remain angry, you give up 60/7 of peace of mind.
67th.
60 seconds. Every minute you remain angry, you give up 60 seconds of peace of mind. Ralph
that
Waldo Emerson.
Ralph Waldo Emerson. Yes.
Very
For
wise,
hold
man.
it. Yeah. For every minute that you remain angry.
You give up 60 seconds of peace of mind.
Okay.
Basically, when you're angry, you have no peace of mind. That's what they're
Okay.
saying.
Gotcha. Nice. Okay, who's the next one from?
This one's from Agnostic Front. You might have heard of them.
I have. Yeah.
No. This is no. This is anger is a wind which
Hold on. Who's this from?
Robert Greene Ingersoll.
Okay.
He was nicknamed the Great American Agnostic.
The great agnostic. He was an American lawyer, writer, and orator during the golden age of free thought, who campaigned in defense of agnosticism. You're quoting this guy? Let's hear what he has to say.
Okay.
We can't hear you, Raghunath. There you go. That's better. You had it. Still can't hear you. Nope.
I got to jiggle around this cord for
Hey.
the
Can't hear you.
anger is a wind.
I'm getting angry over here.
Anger is a wind.
Okay, anger is
No?
a wind. Go ahead, Nick.
Anger is a wind which blows out the lamp of the mind.
Oh, yeah, the darkness in the mind.
Okay.
When
That's
What?
okay.
no, I like that one a lot.
It blows out the lamp of the mind.
In other words, there's some illumination in the mind, but when anger comes in, the illumination's gone.
There are two things a person should never be angry at: what they can help and what they cannot.
Oh,
There are two things a person should never be angry at: what they can help. They shouldn't be angry at what they can help
in other words,
and what they cannot. I don't understand that
that's
one.
Plato. In other words, there's some things that you can change, right? You shouldn't be angry about that. You should go ahead and change it. And there's some things you can't change. Well, there's no point in being angry about that too, because there's nothing you can do about it. So you got to learn to accept it, right? So the two things a person should never be angry about: that which you can change and that which you cannot. In other words, there's no point in being angry. All right? Can't hear you, Raghunath.
Mark Twain, ready?
Mark Twain, go ahead.
Anger is an acid that can do more harm to the vessel in which it is stored than to anything on which it is poured.
That rhymes too.
It rhymes.
Nice.
It can do more harm to the vessel in which it is stored. It really can, huh?
Yeah.
It can make you kill. Anger can make a
Yeah, I'm about to kill you for not getting your microphone together. Okay. Go ahead. Next.
Be not angry.
Who's this coming from?
Be not angry. Can't I tell you last? Why are you getting so angry
you
at
wanna
me? Why do you
focus
need
your
to know first?
You want to focus your mind on who you're hearing from.
Okay.
Picture it in the mind.
Thomas A Kempis,
speaking.
14th century Christian author.
Okay.
Be not angry, Kaustubha, that you cannot make others as you wish them to be,
Oh man, it drives me crazy.
since you cannot make yourself as you wish to be. Ooh,
That's
Thomas
true.
Kempis.
All right. Fair enough.
I think that's your tattoo, brother.
Say it again.
Be not angry that you cannot make others as you wish them to be, since you cannot make yourself as you wish to be.
I guess the fact that you're angry is proof of it right there.
That's a good,
Yeah, be not angry.
good one.
Okay. Now you got one from my friend Marcus.
Yes, Marcus Aurelius. How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it?
Mm-hmm.
How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it?
Right. In other words, the cause of anger, we think, oh, this is a big deal. Then you become angry. You make things much worse. Even more grievous. Yeah.
We get there's a lot of people quoted on anger. Anger is a short madness. Ooh, I like
Short
that.
madness. A short madness.
That was from leading Roman lyric poet
Horace.
His name was Horace.
Horace. That's from
I
Horace.
like when people just had one name.
I know,
Horace.
right? It's just like a first
I'm
name.
Seneca. Who else had one name out there?
Madonna?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Batman.
Well, that's like a title or something.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into the Bhagavatam in the third canto.
Okay.
What chapter, sir?
We're in chapter 12 of the third canto. And we were in text number 11 last we left off, right? This we picked up yesterday, but we never even went any further. So we're on text 12 now.
Lord Brahma said.
You going to chant your holy incantations?
Oh, yeah. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narotamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudiraye. Before reciting the Srimad-Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshva badreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart will become annihilated. And loving service to the Supreme Lord, whose praise with transcendental songs will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Tamarandasya Yananjana Salakaya Chaksurun Midatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances to their lotus-like feet.
All right.
Alrighty.
So you could pick up on text 12 if you want. Start right there. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Should we
Brahma
do a recap?
speaking to Rudra.
Yeah, Rudra is just born out of his anger.
Born. My dear boy Rudra, you have 11 other names. Manu, Manu, Mahinasa, Mahan, Shiva, Ritadvaja.
What does Ritadvaja mean? Dvaja means flag. Rita Dvaja.
Ritadvaja.
Not sure.
I don't know.
Sanskrit people?
I don't know. Ugra, Reta, Bhava, Kala, Vamadev, Drita Vrata. Drita Vrata. So strong.
He's got 11 other names.
Oh, Rudra, you also have 11 wives, the Rudranis.
Hey, right off the bat.
A 50s band. It's Rudra and the Rudranis. And they are as I can see now what the Rudranis.
It's like Robbie Rudra and the Rudranis.
Hey, Nityananda Chandra says the word you're asking about means flag of truth.
Oh, so Rita must mean truth, flag of truth. That's a pretty powerful name.
Yeah.
It is. That Nityananda Chandra is a deep well of Vedic wisdom. You notice that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or fast Googler, one or the other.
Or a very fast Googler. Much faster than you, Maraji.
True.
Mara, the meatball queen. She is the meatball queen.
Okay, Robert, let's keep it together. You're getting excited for the weekend.
You also have 11 wives, the Rudranis, and they are follows. Di, Driti, Rasala, Uma, Niyut, Sarpi, Ila, Ambika, Iravati, Svada, and Diksha.
Okay.
It's like not the names I was expecting. Because, we know many famous names of Durga, and that wasn't it. None of them were them. The most powerful Rudra, whose bodily color was blue mixed with red, created...
Hold it, slow down.
My dear boy,
there you go.
You may now accept all the names and places designated for you and your different wives. And since you are now one of the masters of the living entities, you may increase the population on a large scale.
Okay, so it didn't work with the 4 Kumars, these kind of Sattvic little boys, to produce more progeny, but now out of his anger was born Rudra, and he's going to create offspring now on a large scale.
The most powerful Rudra, whose bodily color was blue mixed with red, created many offspring exactly resembling him in features, strength, and furious nature. The sons and grandsons generated by Rudra were unlimited in number, and when they assembled together, they attempted to devour the entire universe. When Brahma...
Hold it. Sounds like some problem children.
Yeah. Yes. They seem like unruly children.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't have the proper family structure.
What are you talking about? They had father, mother, a lot of uncles and aunts.
They were born from an eyebrow, weren't they?
What are you talking about? They were born that who was?
These Rudras. Oh, they were the children of these goddesses, the Rudranis?
Yeah.
Okay. The sons and grandsons generated by Rudra were unlimited in number, and when they assembled together, they attempted to devour the entire universe. Next 17. Brahma told Rudra.
Well, it says when Brahma, the father of the living entities, saw this, he became afraid of the situation. And again, look at what Brahma's going through, right? If we go back to the beginning of the chapter, right? First he had this job dissatisfaction, then he had tried to correct it, and then he got, dissatisfied with his children, disappointed in his kids. He got angry. Now he's fearful.
Brahma told Rudra, "O best of the demigods, there is no need for you to generate living entities of this nature. They have begun to devastate everything on all sides with their fiery flames from their eyes, and they have even attacked me." Brahma speaking. "My dear son, you had better situate yourself in penance, which is auspicious for all living entities, and which will bring all benedictions upon you. By penance only shall you be able to create the universe as it was before. By penance only can one even approach the personality of Godhead, who is within the heart of every living entity, and at the same time beyond the reach of all senses."
All right, let's read the commentary to this one. Why don't you read that again?
By penance only can one even approach the personality of Godhead, who is within the heart of every living entity, and at the same time beyond the reach of all senses.
So there has to be some control of the senses to reach that which is beyond the reach of the senses, which lies within the heart of every living entity. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, Rudra was advised by Brahma to perform penance as an example to his sons and followers. Okay, he's got all these unruly kids, right? And they're just like causing trouble. And so it looks like the Rudra principle's working over in your world over there. Things are falling apart. So anyway, Rudra is advised by Brahma that, hey, you need to set a good example here and do some penance, focus your mind, detach yourself from things, get serious, go into some meditation. He says, and in this way you attain the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He continues, in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that the common mass of people follow the path shown by an authority. Thus Brahma, disgusted with the Rudra generations and afraid of being devoured by the increase of population, asked Rudra to stop producing such an unwanted generation and to take to penance for attaining the favor of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, we find in pictures, this is interesting, Raghu, you ready? Therefore, we find in pictures that Rudra is always sitting in meditation for the attainment of the favor of the Lord. Interesting, right? Because that is how he's commonly pictured.
Yeah.
Indirectly, the sons and followers of Rudra are advised to stop the business of annihilation, following the Rudra principle, while the peaceful creation of Brahma is going on.
It's another name for a band, the Rudra principle.
With the Rudra principle from... Where
Scranton?
Scranton. There's another band from Scranton.
We're the Rudra principle from Scranton. The song's called Tear It Down. Go! 1, 2, 3, 4.
Your song's got some Rudra principle in there, right? Break down the walls. That's Rudra principle.
Break down the walls, total Rudra principle.
Any others?
Text.
He's thinking.
I don't know. Okay. Let's see. What else? Text 18.
Text 18.
Is that text 18?
That was text 19 already, so you're on text 20 now.
Text 20. Srimacharya said, thus Rudra, having been ordered by Brahma, circumambulated his father, the master of the Vedas, addressing him with the words of assent. He entered the forest to perform austere penances. Brahma, who was empowered by the personality of Godhead, thought of generating living entities and begot 10 sons for the extension of the generations.
Who were those 10 sons?
These are
these are A-list
progenitors, right? The A-list
sages.
Yeah. What they call them, the Saptarishis.
Well, there's more. This is 10.
Oh, this is 10. Okay. Maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe there's a different categorization system. Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulatsya, Pulaha, Kratu, Brigu, Vashista, Daksha, and the 10th son, Narada. What's your favorite name there? I'd hate to be called Kratu. Hey, come on.
What about Pulaha?
Daksha, Pulatsya.
Narada. You see, Narada this is interesting in this verse. Narada's mentioned last, right?
Yeah, why?
And Narada, da means to give, like, to don, right?
Oh, I never thought of that. Nara, and he gives to Nara. He gives to mankind.
Well, I think Nara in this case, maybe Nara is, we need our Sanskrit expert. Let's get Nityananda Chandra on this. But I think Nara refers to God. And so Narayan, or, Narayana. No, or in this case, Narada means one who gives God to people, or gives bhakti to people. Actually, maybe I can find. I think I read.
Dig that up. I'll keep reading.
I'll try to dig that up.
All right. Narada was
no. We got to read this commentary, Baba.
All right.
We got to read this comment. Are you able to?
You can do it.
Okay. So here's the commentary. Again, we'll read this. Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulastya, Pulaha, Kratu, which is a very good name, Brighu, Vaishishta, Daksha, and the 10th son, Narada, were thus born. So Prabhupada writes, the whole process of creation, maintenance, and dissolution of the cosmic manifestation is meant to give the conditioned souls a chance to go back home, back to Godhead. Brahma created Rudra to help him in his creative endeavor, but from the very beginning, Rudra began to devour the whole creation because he had that tamasic thing going on, right? And thus he had to be stopped from such devastating activity. So now he's sitting in meditation, waiting for the right time to bring on the destruction, right? That's meant to happen at a certain point, but not right off the bat. So Brahma therefore created another set of good children who are mostly in favor of worldly fruitive activities. Okay, like, in other words, this is the Vedic teachings of how to be, how to gain what, those material things you want in life, but do it in a pious way, in a sattvic way, in a way that's not destructive to yourself or to others. He said he knew very well, however, that without devotional service to the Lord, there is hardly any benefit for conditioned souls, and therefore he at last created his worthy son Narada, who is the supreme spiritual master of all transcendentalists. Without devotional service to the Lord, one cannot make progress in any department of activity, although the path of devotional service is always independent of anything material. Only the transcendental loving service of the Lord can deliver the real goal of life, and thus the service rendered by Sriman Narada Muni is the highest among the sons of Brahma. Okay, so you have Brahma's sons here. And, I don't know so much about all. Can you tell us much about these different characters? Bhrigu, you could probably tell us. Vashishta, Daksha.
These were all great sages or progenitors, the original rishis, the dispensers of Vedic knowledge and different branches of Vedic knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
They lived on higher planets or in higher dimensions. They're
Yeah.
still alive. They're still there. They come whenever Brahma comes. You'll find often that the Indians that we know, if you ask them what their gotra is, means their family line. Just like when we go to Henry's house, he's got all these pictures of his family generations going back hundreds of years through Germany or wherever the Shilkoffs are from. He's got his coat of arms. He thinks and he gets pretty proud. He's like, I can look back at my family lineage for many, many generations. But you can't take it back to the sons of Brahma, Henry.
Let's go way back.
Indians, you ask Indians what their family gotra is, and they'll be like, I wonder if Veena knows.
I go to Bhrigu, something like
that. We have Amita's on the call today, and Veena's on the phone call today, and Prabot is on the phone. Maybe we should ask them.
The Gotra?
Yeah. Okay. Let's start with Amita. Can we unmute Amita? Amita, can you hear me?
I have no idea.
You have no idea what your
You just
culture is.
shot
You're
down the
ruining
whole
my
theory.
Yeah.
Okay, we're muting
I mean,
you
I
now.
was born and raised in India part of my life, but no idea.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you,
that's
Amita.
one down. Let's go to Veena. Where's Veena?
Veena, just make something up if you don't know.
Veena put on the chat board that she's going to go ask her mom.
She's gonna ask her mom. Okay,
Yeah.
Where's Prabot?
Prabodh, I think, knows. He said Sangar.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, it's Sangar.
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 That's not even a real gotra. Did you just make that up?
No. No.
You mean Shankar?
So basically, the Sangar is actually came from the lineage, a name given by the grandparent to its generation. So the real name will get lost somewhere, but the Sangar part is just coming with us all here until the 10th generation, I think.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna take that. We're gonna you beat Bhakti Henry there. And when Veena gets back, we might even get one back to Brahma's children. But sometimes it's like Kodinya, Vashishta, Bhrigu, Gautama. These are the common names you hear.
Well, Raghunath.
Your last name is Ramella, right?
Yeah.
What's your family lineage?
I have absolutely no idea.
I know
that it goes back to Tuscany.
Huh? And we go back to Tuscany too. Maybe our relatives knew each other.
It's definitely possible. I've heard someone once told me that the name Ramella has something to do with like copper, like maybe it's people that mined copper or worked with copper or something like that. I don't know.
Well, you know what the name Capo means.
I know what the name Capo means.
Capo
He's
de
a
Capo.
gangster.
They were low-class gangsters, my people.
Yeah. But I think when we get into this stuff, it's a good time to pull out the old Srimad-Bhagavatam family tree.
Yeah.
Because you see,
it goes, if you're going down as Krishna or Lord Vishnu, he gives birth to Lord Brahma. Then Lord Brahma gives birth to all these different sons. First, later in this chapter, there's going to be the birth of Swayambhuva Manu, and from him come like all sorts of generations.
Right.
And on the other side of the family tree, you have all these sons, including Marichi and Atri. Both of these two are mentioned, right? Many others are mentioned. But from these two, from Atri comes the lineage of the moon, and from Marichi comes the lineage of the sun, right? And throughout both these lineages, you get like Krishna appearing. Like in the lineage of the moon, he appears as Lord Ram, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Or is it the lineage of sun?
Sun.
In the lineage of sun, he appears as Lord Ram.
Krishna is in the Moon Dynasty.
And Krishna appears in the moon, and all the Pandavas are appearing in that moon dynasty. So you can see how it comes down. Like Atri's line, it comes down to Soma, who's the god of the moon, and it keeps going down until you get to, let's see who we get. Eventually, you get to Nahusha, Yayati. You get down to Yadu, and they have the Yadu dynasty.
How do you find this family tree?
We've shared it a long time ago, but
Okay. People can Google up the
Srimad-Bhagavatam family tree. You probably come up with it. See if that works. And then so then you got like the Yadu dynasty coming down on one end, and the Purus coming down on the other side, and it all goes down to the Pandavas and to Krishna and all that.
Right.
That's on one end.
Well, here we go again, and I'm not just being a jerk.
Yeah.
How do you get someone coming down from a higher being to this planet? That means higher beings must have created or mated
Spaceships.
with beings of this planet. Right? You don't
I
just
guess it's. I mean, how they transport. What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that you can call them aliens if you like. I'm just saying they're higher beings. They somehow must mate with a human being to create offspring.
Well, someday you gotta make like a documentary on that. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah,
Well, we talk about flying chariots. What do you think of flying chariots? Like a spaceship?
It's possible.
How would you explain? How would you explain it back then when we call it a ship? We're just because we're putting it in the eyes of like
naval
a naval.
language.
A big boat. It's a flying ship, right?
So they could have a flying chariot.
They just call it whatever they know during their time. There were chariots, so they see a flying chariot. So we hear of Indra landing and meeting Yudhisthira on a flying chariot. It's not a flying chariot; it's a spaceship.
Okay.
Call it what you like. It's a flying thing. Okay.
So in any case, another lineage comes down from Marichi. First there's Kasyapa, and Kasyapa has two wives, Diti and Aditi, right?
Okay, and this is where the demons and the demigods.
That's right. So from Diti comes Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, and from Hiranyakashipu comes Prahlad, who becomes one of the most important figures in Bhagavatam. Although he's born in the demon lineage, he's a pure devotee. His son is Virochan, and Virochan's son is Bali. Bali is also in the demon lineage, but very great exalted devotee, right? And then it goes down. You get in a couple generations down. You get King Nriga, whole story about him. But then you get Ishvaku, right? And if you come down,
was born in that demon lineage.
Well, he's kind of connected to both, because on Aditi's line, if you come down from Aditi, you get Vivishvan is his son. That's the sun god, right? And then you get Vaivashvata Manu, who's the current Manu today. And then from him comes Ishvaku too. So it must be like a daughter on one side, and it's kind of like a little bit intermarriage, but they're definitely separated. I guess we're all related in one sense, right?
Yeah.
And so then Ishvaku is oh no, I see. Ishvaku is coming down from he's not coming in the demon lineage. Now I see. It just they were squeezed a little together. So you have Ishvaku, and from Ishvaku coming down, you get Sita on one. Janak comes, and from Janak, Sita, the wife of Lord Ram.
This is one of those things like, I'm marrying my sister.
Yeah, there's some connection here, but in any case, and it comes down from Ishvaku. On the other side, you got Harsh Chandra, Rohita, you got Bhagirata, you got Katvanga.
He's famous, right? Kadvanga, you know what he's famous for?
Katvanga, Mars Katvanga. Yeah, he did something. What did he do?
He was the one that he was given the benediction that he could be told exactly when he's going to die.
Oh yeah, and he died immediately.
And they said, "When is it coming?" He's like, "Right now."
Imagine
Thanks
that.
a lot. But he was able to focus his mind, you know, at
In a moment.
the final moment. Yeah.
You know who Bhagirath was? He was the one that called the Ganga to descend.
That's right. He called the
That's
Ganga
why
to descend.
The Ganga is known as Bhagirathi.
Yeah, and then after Kadvanga come more descendants, and then after that is Dasarat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
The
from him
father of
comes Ramchandra, who marries Sita, who's coming down that other line. And then they have Lava and Kusha, and that you have that other line. And then later on, we're going to hear about Svayambhuva Manu. Now, that's going to be like a whole nother branch. And he's got 2 sons and 3 daughters. Do you know their names? Because this is all Bhagavatam. Like, it all just plays out in Bhagavatam.
I don't know.
Priyavrata is one.
Okay.
One is the father of Dhruva.
Uttapan.
Uttanapad.
Uttanapad.
Yeah.
Is
And
it
then
an Uttapana Indian food? Or South Indian?
That's a
Uttapam.
South Indian, yeah. Uttapam. Dosha.
Dosa.
Idli.
Chum chum.
Chum chum. And then Svayambhuva Manu's got 2 sons, Priyavrata. So many important people come down his lineage. Uttanapad, you got Dhruva, you know, who's going to become real important in the Bhagavatam. Vena, who's going to come down, and Prithu, and others. So many important characters in the Bhagavatam will come after that.
Okay, let's stop this list now.
No. There's more. Because then you what else you got is the 3 daughters, Akuti, Prashuti, and...
Maguti.
Come on, man.
Oh, no.
Devahuti.
Oh, Devahuti. Okay.
Yeah, Devahuti. And so then from her comes Lord Kapila, and Durvasa Muni comes down from that lineage. You know, so a lot of important connections. If they're beginning to come out now, like it's the beginning of the family tree is being mentioned in this verse, and or like not the very beginning, but in other words, we're beginning to hear about the different characters who are going to populate not only the universe but the Bhagavatam, and it's right there. So let's read Prabhupada's commentary, shall we?
Yeah, please do.
Okay. So he writes, the whole process of the creation, maintenance, and dissolution of the cosmic manifestation. Oh, I read this, right? Is meant to give the conditioned souls a chance to go back home, back to Godhead. Brahma created Rudra to help him in his creative endeavor, but from the very beginning, Rudra began to devour the whole creation, and thus he had to be stopped from such devastating activities. Brahma therefore created another set of good children who were mostly in favor of worldly fruitive activities. Like we're going to see like Daksha, right? He's like a good man. He's pious and he's trying to do things like he's religious, you know, he's doing his duties, but he's not the deepest spiritual person.
He's a little proud.
He's got some pride.
A little proud.
He can't always see. He's going to get in trouble with 2 important characters, right?
Yeah, it's a problem when you get a little proud around Lord Shiva, because Lord Shiva won't tolerate it.
Yeah, well, Lord Shiva doesn't look like the pious person. He looks a little tamasic, right? A little dark. But in his heart, it's very pure.
Yeah.
And so he has
Daksha's like the perfect example of when you get a little arrogant, the rug gets pulled out. You lose your head. And so if you don't know the story, he gets his head cut off and it gets replaced with a goat's head.
So that whole story.
That's humiliating. Imagine if you're like, he was probably very, very beautiful, Daksha, because these guys
very
are
handsome,
like
man.
higher beings.
Yeah.
And imagine if you were all of a sudden, okay, we're not going to kill you, but we're going to replace your head with the head of a goat. How humiliating must that be? I mean, we tell the story and we hear the story for many years, but you think around, if I was walking around, even at a goat's head, but my hand was like the hoof of a goat. And every time you like,
would be bad.
Every time you like run your credit card, okay, that'd be $40. Cash or credit, and you just take your little hoof and put it on the counter, and
everybody's looking at you.
And everyone's looking at you like, and they're like, "Don't say anything. It's just a hoof. Big deal." Some people have hooves. And
well, you know,
imagine if he had the whole head of a goat. So he was dressed very beautifully, regally, but like his hair coming down over his collar and his nose.
It's probably a great looking goat, but still,
it was a good looking goat. It was a beautiful goat, but it's shocking. And he had to walk around with that head. See, these are things you got to see. I love to take these details and tease them out because you got to feel like that is a humiliating thing. And you're always humbled and you're always reminded, like, my arrogance, it got me this head.
Raghunath, one of my last time that I was reading through that part of the Bhagavatam, something occurred to me that never struck me before. But it's like one of the best jokes told in the Bhagavatam.
Okay.
Right? Because what happens, in short, it's an incredible, there's so many important lessons in that pastime. But Lord Shiva is married to Daksha's daughter. But Daksha looks at Lord Shiva, he's kind of like, like sometimes the fathers are kind of like angry at their son-in-laws because they think, oh, she could have married someone better. And
right.
Look at this guy.
He's not serious. He's hanging out with a bad crew.
He's hanging out with a bad
posse,
crew.
Right? Lord
Dark
Shiva's
people.
A bunch of like ghosts and goblins and
dented cans
because they're all taking shelter of him.
Yeah.
And so it's like, who is this guy coming to the house?
He's dirty. He's got skulls. He's wearing skulls around his neck.
My older sister was sort of from a hippie generation.
Okay.
And some guy came to the door one day. I remember this is one of my earliest memories at like 4 years old. Some guy came to the door and he was a total hippie. And my father answered the door and he goes, "Get out of here or I'll shoot you."
Okay, so that's the way Daksha was with Shiva.
Yeah.
Right? It's like they were already married, but he was like, he wears skulls around his neck. He just runs around in a loincloth. He's covered in ashes. He's got these dreadlocks. He's not like me. I'm clean. I'm super religious and I do all the right things. But he couldn't see how deeply spiritual Lord Shiva was.
Yeah, the hippie too was probably a very nice guy.
He was. He probably was.
By the way, when I said that, I looked around the Zoom board and everybody was a little shocked that my father said that, except Troy Wainwright from Louisiana. Troy Wainwright was like, "Yeah, he shot him. That makes sense. That's what they do. That's what we do in Louisiana. We shoot him."
Okay.
All right, go on.
So, his daughter Sati is married to Lord Shiva, and one day, like here you go, Raghunath, airplanes and spaceships and all that. She's looking up in the air and she's seeing like all kinds of like devas and exalted beings are like traveling for like a big event, and it's a big event at her father's place. And she's hears like, oh, he's doing a big sacrifice. He's doing a big, ritualistic ceremony. And Sati's thinking, oh, I want to go. Because
when we say a ritualistic ceremony, that makes no sense though. So
that's why I said a ritualistic sacrifice, ceremony.
Yeah, but that doesn't make sense either. No one knows what a ritualistic ceremony is.
Well, everybody has, weddings.
I mean, this is a podcast. People are just tuning in. They just listen to.
All right, to clarify.
Other thing. A ritualistic sacrifice, what he means to say is he's throwing a big party. He's throwing a big party. Everybody's going to dress up, put on fancy outfits. And in Indian culture, that also means there's some religious things happening.
Well, that's where I was going, right? Okay, everybody's dressing up. Everybody's going to be there. It's a social thing, right? Yeah, there's a big social thing going on. And so she wants to go. Lord Shiva says, I don't think we should go to that because your father doesn't like me. He's going to see me. He's going to get upset. He's going to say nasty stuff. You're going to get angry. It's going to be a mess. Better that we just stay here, right? And what does she say?
No, come on. I really want to go out. It's going to be fun. Let's do it. I want to dress up. Come on. All my friends are going to be there. Come on. Lord, you never take me anywhere. We got a big party. My father's throwing a party. Let's go.
And he says one more time, no, if you want to go, I'm not going to hold you back.
He's going to make fences. It's not going to be good. It's
going to get messy. Yeah.
No, he was being very sober about it. And she,
yeah. Yeah. So he said, if you want to go, I'm not going to hold you back.
Fun. Just go out and have a good time.
Yeah. So she went. And she went accompanied by Lord Shiva's followers who are like, it's kind of like walking in there with like,
a crew, a real motley crew.
A real motley crew. They're like, not only...
she's elegant, princess, gorgeous,
yeah,
completely decked out. And she's got all Lord Shiva's followers who are completely like ragtag, mishap. They've got
dangerous
weapons.
too. They're you don't mess with these people either.
Yeah. Imagine you have a really elegant party and this sort of crew just shows up. Come on.
It's like one of those gangs from like the 70s, like
MS-13.
like MS. Okay,
shows
like MS.
up at your wedding.
but they're scary like MS-13, but they're also like they're very devoted to Lord Shiva, and that's their saving grace, right?
Yeah.
So they're special in their own way.
If anyone from MS-13 is listening, no
we
offense
love
taken.
you. We don't want to. We're not against you in any way.
Kaustubha has no issue with you. I'm good. Mara might have issue. No, she doesn't either.
No, Mara likes MS-13. She's fine with that. Okay.
It's not funny. It's not funny. Stop laughing. Everybody stop laughing.
Stop. Okay. So she goes there accompanied by all his posse, all Lord Shiva's posse. And they go there, and exactly what Lord Shiva predicted happens. And this is another one of those leelas, one of these pastimes where like all the women were like kind of like they had it together, and the men were like just like super egoistic. So like when when Daksha's wife, Sati's mother, sees Sati, Lord Shiva's wife, she's like, "Oh, I haven't seen you in so long. We're so happy to see you." And they're embracing and crying tears of joy. My daughter, seen her, but Daksha, he doesn't want to have anything to do with her, right? He's just like, you married Shiva. I don't even want to look at you. I don't want to talk to you. And it's obvious, like, and he says some things that are just not right. And then what does she do?
She finally loses it. Say, you have no respect for Lord Shiva. Don't you know who Lord Shiva is?
Yeah.
He's not just my husband. He's like the master of this universe. How dare you offend Lord Shiva? And she starts getting super angry at him.
Yeah, she's like, oh, you got, you think you're so, you can't see the good in others. Lord Shiva, if he sees even a little good, he magnifies it. If you see even a little bad, you magnify it. What kind of attitude is that?
This
right?
is the classic teenager telling off her dad. We've all been there, parents.
And he just makes it worse. And then what does she decide to do?
She decides to tell her husband.
No,
she tells Virabhadra.
No.
Oh, she jumps in the fire. She creates a fire.
She what did they call that again?
Emulates.
Immolation. Self-immolation.
She builds a fire and she jumps in the fire and she gives up her life.
Spontaneous human combustion.
Yeah.
Spontaneous human combustion. She says, I don't want to have anything. If my body came from you and you're so disrespectful to the glorious Lord Shiva, then I don't want to have anything to do with you. And right on the spot, she goes into spontaneous human combustion. She just lights up.
It's a thing. It's a real thing. Google it. Spontaneous combustion.
Yeah.
Imagine if you do it and then you're like, I don't want to do it. You change your mind in the middle.
It's too late.
Just like your hand burns.
Why does your mind always go to these details?
Well, because I think through these things.
Okay, well, think this through. Think this through. That she goes up in flames, and then what do you think happens with the posse there? They go wild.
They go wild. They're like, the Hell's Angels. They're in the wedding. They're in the wedding now, basically. Yeah.
And it's like the wife of the leader of the Hell's Angels just goes up in flames. They just tear that place apart, and it's like crude what they do. It's just like they're pillaging the whole place.
They're pillaging
and so this beautiful social religious event, which was supposed to be so nice and so good, was all ruined because Daksha did not respect Lord Shiva's wife, his own daughter. She goes up in flames. The whole place goes crazy. And eventually, Daksha loses his head. His head is cut off, right?
Yeah.
Somehow he continues to live. And now all of these sons, the type of people that were here, I think Brigu was there, and certainly Daksha was there, and others, they're like, what do we do now? Daksha just lost his head. The whole ceremony's been screwed up. They go to Brahma, who's like the voice of reason. And Brahma says, well, you disrespected Lord Shiva. You expect anything good is going to come from that? You need to go back to him and apologize. Just like we were talking about yesterday with Ambarish, right? You got to go to the person who you've offended, and you have to apologize to them and correct this thing. So they're kind of like with their tail between their legs. They all go to Lord Shiva and they say, you know what? We disrespected you. It wasn't right. Please forgive us. And Lord Shiva, because he's kind, he forgives. And somehow, I forget, is it from Lord Shiva or is it from Vishnu that he gets his, I think Lord Shiva says you're going to get your head back. You have a head of a goat, right? Okay, so he's back, but he paid the price. But after that, Lord Vishnu descends on that area, right? They clean everything up. They're going to do the sacrifice all again, and then Lord Vishnu comes. And this is an incredible part of the story where Lord Vishnu, when he appears, everybody now says, Lord Vishnu's here. and they all begin to offer prayers, and or they go around the horn, they go around, and everybody offers a little prayer to Lord Vishnu. Beautiful prayers, really good, great information. But what I was saying was what I never noticed before, but it seems to be like it's a joke, but it's a really good one, is when you get to
this was all just leading up to this joke.
This was all just leading up to this joke.
Okay, let's see. This better be a good joke.
Well, man. I hope you like it, but I find it really funny. But you have Daksha's wife, who was right all along, right? Like, she understood, this is Sati, this is our daughter. Lord Shiva's fine. It's so good to see you again. She wasn't seeing with that materialistic vision, with that pride and that arrogance. Although Daksha was very accomplished and very religious, very pious, it developed arrogance in him. Whereas his wife didn't have that arrogance. So now she speaks. And when she says to Lord Vishnu, I forget exactly what she said, but more or less she says something like, Lord Vishnu, wherever you appear, you bring all auspiciousness and all goodness. It makes everything very beautiful. But wherever you don't appear, everything that is beautiful becomes, not beautiful. And then she gives an analogy, or she says, like a body. Now, who do you think she's standing to when she's speaking? Right? She's probably standing next to her husband, Daksha. Right? And so she says, when you appear, everything becomes beautiful. But when you don't appear, when you're not there, when you're not connected, when we disconnect from you, then everything's not beautiful, like a body without a head. And she's standing right next to her husband, who's now lost his head. It has that goat head. And I think that, you right? You with me? I can't hear you, Raghunath.
Yeah, pretty good.
Right? If you hear it, if you read it, because all the prayers are real serious and everything, but when she says that, come on, she's got to be alluding to Daksha. It's like a body without a head.
What do you think, Mara? Anyway,
we're going to get there. That's going to come later, right? That's 4th canto, right?
Oh, this. Okay, we got some good hashtags coming up today.
What do we got today?
Piling lists of hashtags.
Yeah, we have some funny ones.
Okay.
There's behave or you'll get a goat head.
I can't complain.
I'm going to tell that to my kids. You better behave.
Trust the combust.
Trust the combust.
Yeah. Anger burns the vessel that it holds.
Yeah.
The hippie was probably a nice guy too.
Be nice to MS-13.
Yeah, be nice to MS-13. Don't mess with Lord Shiva's posse.
I'm going to get the Be Nice to MS-13 tattoo in case I ever run into them.
Don't offend saintly people.
There you go. Let's take that one.
All right. Stop there. Well,
no. I want to hear the rest.
All right. The original goat yoga lineage.
I like self-emulation. Think it through.
Yeah, exactly. Self-emulation. Think it through.
Okay. So there we go. Hey, we got a big weekend now, huh?
It's a big weekend, and we
got Q&A tomorrow at the regular time.
Yeah, Q&A tomorrow at 8, but nothing Sunday, right?
Nothing Sunday. Sunday's a day off.
Sunday. So we'll see you Monday, but we're going to be at 8 o'clock because we're still going to be wiped out for Monday. Is that okay? 8 o'clock, guys? Let's take a Zoom. Everyone's like, yeah, it's sleeping every day. David Charles Wilson, frustrated. Thanks, everybody, joining us on Zoom. You're like my people.
You know what? Maybe we should broadcast live a little some of the stuff that's not, like for Patreon members.
Yeah,
this
make
weekend.
them join Patreon.
Yeah, keep your eyes open for Patreon member. Maybe we'll broadcast some of the stuff live this weekend. You should do Rath Yachas or going down the street, a little live Patreon. Oh, now we're talking. Okay, let's see.
Patreon to see